Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Kyle Kirkwood, live from Rolex 24 at Daytona. How's it going, bud?
It's going good. It's going good. Beautiful weather here in Florida, as usual for the winter time, and it's been warmer than last year. Last year it was like, man, it made it in the mid 20s during the race. I think this weekend it's shooting for the mid 40s in the night, so which is quite nice, and it's something that our car likes. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's been an interesting off season for you. But let's talk about what you're doing here this weekend. Of course, you're back with the Vassar Sullivan team at the Rolex 24. Just how exciting is it to be back?
I mean, it's super exciting. You know, this is going to be my third time running with this team. First time running in the number 12 car. There's some new hurdles with that, but at the end of the day, I know the car, I know the team well, I know the drivers well. So I mean, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good weekend. Where we probably there's a lot of new cars that are here this weekend, and we happen to be one of the oldest cars on the grid, which means that we probably have one of the most reliable cars on the grid, given that we know it through and through so well. And I feel like we've worked through all the gremlins that maybe a new car might have. You know, so I mean, I'm excited for this weekend. I think we've got a chance. We had a chance last year. We were in P4 in the 14 car coming into the closing stages. We were actually in a podium position for a while, but we had too much rear bumper damage from an incident in the race at some point. That was slowing us down a lot. So hopefully we just keep the car clean. We've got a chance here.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But the thing is, it's like also I'm looking at the driver roster that you have. It's you, Parker Thompson, and three of you. I think three of you were in like the road to Indy together at one point.
I wouldn't know. I never drove with Aaron, but he was always about a year or two ahead of me.
Yeah,
Aaron was. He won scholarships, right? He made his way all the way up to Indy Lights with Velarde, won races with Velarde, and ultimately, I don't think he continued the season that he had going. But he's a shoe for sure, right? He is an amazing driver. So is Parker. I've grown up with Parker. I've known Parker since, man, I was probably 10 or 11 years old in karting. So I know his background. And fortunately, he's a silver, and so is Frankie Montecalvo. He has one of them. He probably is the second, other than Jack Oxworth. He's the most experienced driver on his team with this car. So I mean, we've got a killer lineup between us four as a pro-am team.
Yeah, for sure. Might as well just ask you about this since you're here. Of course, are you excited for? Of course, the upcoming IndyCar season is almost here, and you're with Andretti Autosport in the 27. Just how exciting is it to kind of be welcomed back into the family, and excited because right after Rolex, you're heading to the Thermal Club.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a busy couple weeks for me, right? I mean, so is it for 10 of us in the IndyCar field, and fortunately, our schedules work that we can do both. Which last year, for instance, like Sebring, that couldn't happen. So this year, it's been more opened up for us, which is very fortunate for ourselves. This is a great warm up for Thermal. I feel like, or it's not really warm up. It's a very important race, right? But it is something that gets us in the racing mindset for what is ultimately my main job, which is IndyCar. And this is, like I said, this is a great way to get right back in the groove. And I'm excited. I mean, Andretti has felt like a home for me for the past few years, and of course, I had an awesome time with AJ Foyt Racing, and we did a lot of good things together. But I feel like this couldn't have worked out better in my favor, where I go in, I do a year, kind of learn everything, and then be welcomed back to a team that I had a couple of years with in Indy Lights, right? And even there's guys that I've worked with before that are on my car that work with me at Indy Lights, so there's some cool aspects to it. So it's not like I'm coming into a new team or anything. It's like I'm coming back to a team that I feel that we have a great relationship with.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the things that you want to accomplish at the Thermal Club?
I mean, we've got a run plan. I can't tell you what that is, right? But
well, of course
ultimately, I mean, we got some new test items that they've learned over the off season. We're going to continue to work on that, and ultimately just getting us back up to speed. I mean, it's 5 months from one end to the other in our off season, which is very, very long. You kind of forget some things, so just getting back in the groove, learning how everything feels again, is super important. So I'm excited for that. And those are really just the biggest things that we got to take off of our bucket list.
Yeah, for sure. What's it like just running this race in particular? You've run it for a number of years. What's the biggest challenge, being in the car or being out of the car?
It's most stressful being out of the car. I can tell you that, because it's hard to just shut it off, right? It's a 24-hour race, and you're trying to get as much rest and as much downtime as possible. That way you're fresh when you get into the car. It's really hard to just shut it off and be like, okay, my job's done. I trust everyone else that are in my car, which I do, to go out there and do just as well as me, if not better, right? And I fully do. I fully trust that. But it's just having your mindset to just shut it off and be like, okay, everything's going to be fine during the time that I'm trying to rest and go to sleep, because there's still a race going on, and it's hard to shut off a race that you're in, even though you're not really in it at the time, which it's very confusing, and it's hard to accept from my point of view, which is sprint racing always. So yeah, it's a different mentality, no doubt.
Yeah. Is this the only IMSA race you're going to do this year?
We will see. We will see. I hope to do more, but at the moment, this is the one for me. So hopefully we can knock this one out with a win.
All right. Might as well ask you this then. I've asked everybody I've talked to before this race, what's it going to take to win the Rolex 24?
Perseverance, just going through the normal things, making sure we execute on pit lane. Everyone in the field's got to do brake changes, make sure we knock out those brake changes, make sure our driver changes are good. I mean, pit lane stuff is where you can get caught out, and then keeping your nose clean, man. I mean, there's a lot of P3 cars, P2 cars that can rough you up and they can actually ruin your race, right? So you're trying to avoid those altercations and staying on the lead lap. If you just stay on the lead lap, do all your normal stuff, doesn't matter what position you're in. As long as you're in the lead lap by hour 22, there's usually not that many cars left in it, so you're in a good position at that point. So those are the main things that we want to get done. I mean, ultimately, it's more of a survival than anything. So we're just going to make sure that we survive. All
right, Kyle Kirkwood, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Best of luck at the Rolex 24. Best of luck at the Thermal Club this week, and we'll talk to you later in the year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.